Welcome everyone to another dose of Digital Soma. In this video I will be covering NewGRFs for OpenTTD. A question I see often posted to Reddit is, are there any NewGRFs that you would recommend? And the answer is yes. There are a bunch of fantastic NewGRFs. There's a lot of really talented artists and developers in the OpenTTD community producing really high quality NewGRFs that make your game look fantastic. Now, you don't need NewGRFs to build beautiful complex train networks and road networks and all the fun stuff that make us love this game so much. But it can be a fun addition if you're just getting tired of the base game. This will be a little bit of a tutorial video, so those new to OpenTTD and just getting into NewGRFs for the first time, I hope you'll find this helpful. And if you already know what NewGRFs are, maybe you'll pick something up too. Either way, let's get into it. So to start with NewGRFs, you go into the NewGRF settings button. And then, as we can see, we don't have any installed, so there's nothing to activate. We go to check online content, and OpenTTD has a website called Bananas that NewGRF developers can upload their creations to, and that's what this interface connects to. And as you can see, there are plenty of NewGRFs. There's so many, it's easy to get overwhelmed the first time you're looking into NewGRFs, but there's just so many, and I can't possibly cover them all. So if I skip over one, I'm not trying to leave one out. It doesn't mean I don't like it, but I'm just going for a basic video here. So that's where this tag and name filter comes in. Now, when you're looking for NewGRFs, when you're first getting into NewGRFs, the main question you want to ask yourself is, what's your play style? Are you looking for an eye candy, or are you looking for a challenge to the logistics and the cargo management, and trying to build complex train networks and needing to get really clever with your vehicle orders and such, or a combination of the two? And once you have that decided, you ask whether you're looking for a realistic look, or if you just want to keep it with a simulation of the real world and use the base road sets, base vehicle sets, and other base assets. So if you're looking for an eye candy playthrough, the first one that I recommend is Industrial Stations Renewal. So if you know what you're looking for, or you're just exploring for the first time, you can just type into this tag and name filter, and it'll reduce the results just to what you type in. So Industrial Stations Renewal, this is the default train stations here. And really the only customization you can get in the base game is whether the station has a roof over it or doesn't. And if you build an even set of tracks at the same time, it'll have a roof. But if you build one station and then build another station right next to it, it won't have a roof. And that's about all you can customize in the base game. But what this does is it gives you a lot more options for cargo depots. You can do like a logging station, you can do oil facilities, you can do a grain loading station, a mineral unloader, a steel mill, just a wide variety of stuff, and kind of all the ancillary infrastructure around a station, so you can make things look really good. Other stations, you can just type in stations, and you can see here British station sets, I think is a good one, and then like Japanese stations, that's fun, US stations, and if you activate too many at the same time, they can start to conflict with each other, so really just pick a cargo and like one or two passenger stations, and then if you're looking for more complex industries than the default, if you're going for an eye candy playthrough, What I like is First. First is a really good one. It's just a little bit more complex than the base game, but nothing too overwhelming. It has a few additional cargo types, and the industries interweave a bit more than the base game. So the base game really has a primary, a secondary, and then the goods go back to the town. That's basically how it works. But First, there's a primary, a secondary, a tertiary, and then sometimes the tertiary goes back to the primary, sometimes the tertiary goes to towns. So it's a little bit more complex than the base game, but nothing too overwhelming. So that would be for a eye candy playthrough. So we'll just go ahead and sort by those, and then pressing this button, it'll sort. If there's a check mark next to it, it means you've selected it. If there's a green circle next to it, it means that you've installed it already. And then if there's just an empty box, then you haven't selected it. So we'll just go download those. Hit OK, and then we can see that they're in the inactive NewGRF files. So to activate them, you have to click on their name in this box and then press the add button, and that'll add them to the active NewGRF files. And then to remove one, you just click the name here and remove it. Or if you just want to redo it all, you can come up to the select preset, click none, and that'll remove all active NewGRFs. And then, so we'll go back to check online content. Now, if you want a logistics challenge and really having to plan out your routes and really decide like your vehicle orders and customize it like to sometimes an extreme extent, ECS is a really good one. And it is pretty complex, so just starting out, you might want to pick one or two that sound interesting to you and add them gradually, just to get a handle on things, because what ECS will do, primary industries will run out of natural resources, so your coal mines and your oil wells, those will close down. So you have to constantly update your supply lines and your networks. Secondary industries have a stockpile, and once that stockpile is reached, the secondary industry will stop accepting the primary cargo. So what you'll have to do is like tell your trains to go to the first station, your first priority station that you want them to drop off at, but if they don't unload all their cargo, you do a conditional order jump to another station, your second priority station, and so on. And you can get really complex, and then deciding how many trains you need on the line to service the line effectively can be overwhelming. But if you like a logistics challenge, ECS is a lot of fun. So we'll just go ahead and download all of those. Now, if you use an industry replacement set, you are going to need a train set or a vehicle set that allows you to utilize the custom cargoes that come with the industry sets. So if you want to use the default road vehicles, road vehicles, trains, and everything, you can go to OpenGFX, OpenGraphics, and these OpenGraphics Plus NewGRFs allow you to customize the base assets just a little bit more than the default allows you. So you can do OpenGFX Plus trains and OpenGFX Plus road vehicles, and those two are what you need if you have a industry NewGRF and you want to play with the default road vehicles. And then more about the OpenGraphics Plus NewGRFs. The airports will allow you to rotate the airports, so rather than always having them run northeast to southwest, you can do northwest to southeast, and rotate it 360 degrees around, and just have the different runway layouts. Airports as objects, that's another good eye candy one. So yeah, just probably a good starting place if you're just starting out with NewGRFs is these Open Graphics Plus ones, because it's the default graphics and default vehicle sets, just with a little bit more configuration to them. But if you want to do more of a realism playthrough, EGR VTS, that's a good one. That'll give you trams and stagecoaches and just kind of generic road vehicles throughout history. And that's another thing that NewGRFs allow you to do. The base game really can only be played between 1950 and 2050, but with some NewGRFs you can go all the way up to 1700 with sailing ships, and you know, you can really play the an era that you're interested in, whether you want to go across the Great Plains in your Iron Horse, or really build maglev through futuristic cities. You can do that with NewGRFs. So we'll go ahead and do that one. And then there's also you can also choose regional vehicle sets. So I'm in the USA, so I'll just filter for USA, and the one that I most often play with is where is it? We'll do North American. So we can see we have a North American industry set that's based off of FIRST. So again, good for an eye candy playthrough. Not as complex as a ECS, but a little bit more complex than base game. North American Renewal set is a train set, and you can see there's multiple ones here. If you ever see multiple of the same, you want to check the version number, and the higher the number, the more recent the release. So just pick the most recent one. North American Road Vehicle set, we'll do that one. Again, that one's 001, that one's 12, so we'll do that one. There's even track sets, so if you want to get really realistic and really localized, you can do you can do track sets based off of the region train set that you have. And then we will do American Road Replacement set, and that'll be the darker asphalt and the yellow line in the middle for the American road style, and for that we will do the Total Bridge Renewal set, which will replace the default bridges. We'll do US town names, and that'll be good for the region. And then we'll do Total Town Replacement set, and that's if you're getting bored of the default houses and stuff. You can do that one, and that'll provide a whole different building set. And then we'll also do Heavy Equipment set. So if you're going for, again, realistic playthrough, you can do really appropriate, like huge mining dump trucks, really long and slow lumber trucks, industrial trams. So this one's a lot of fun to play with, and gives you really good looking stuff. And then we'll do AV8, and that's real world aircraft. I believe there's actually AV9 now. I think that might be the most recent one. Let's see, that's 400 kilobytes. AV8 is 1 megabyte. So it looks like in AV9 they removed some of the available aircraft, or maybe optimize the sprites a little bit. But we'll go with AV8 because that's the one I generally play with. And then there is Roadhog. This is more of a UK British one, but some of the trucks work really well for a North American play style. Roadhog's a good one. And then for ships, there's Fish, and I do fish 2, the squid 8 fish. That is just an updated fish ship set, so we'll do that one. And then if you want a really early game, you can do sailing ships, and that's a lot of fun. I like that. That's a good one, but we won't do that one. And I believe that's all. That's a good start for a realism playthrough. And you know, there's different regions. You can do UK, and you can see there's a whole bunch of UK. There's Australia is a new one that's being developed. This one's more recent. Japan is a well-established one. So you know, different areas. I think there's actually one for the Czech Republic. I thought I saw one. Maybe not. But there's a whole bunch of regions. There's North Korea, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, DPRK. So people are making some interesting sets out there. So whatever region you want to simulate, there's an option for you. So we'll go ahead and I'll just take a look at which ones that I've selected. Again, green means they're installed, and check means that they you have them selected. So yeah, that looks good. So we'll do that. Let them download. Hit OK. And then so we'll go for a North American eye candy. Aviate. British stations, why not? We won't do ECS. We won't do years. We'll do heavy equipment. We'll do industrial stations. North American Railway. Yep. North American road vehicles. Road hogs, squid 8 fish. Total bridge, total town. US stations, US town names. Track and industry. And then if you have a set that you really like, you can save preset, call it something that you'll remember, and then that way it's saved. So if you ever want to go from playing a North American style to playing a Japanese style, all you have to do is save the set and then come back up here. Now going to none and North American, that won't change anything in the game. You actually have to go down and press the supply changes button, and you can see the game paused to load those changes. And after that, you are ready to play. So we'll just go new game, generate. Now the first thing you want to do after loading your game for the first time is we can see here that North American roads, those aren't North American roads. So we can go to the gear icon, go to NewGRF settings, and the priority is top is the least priority, and then they'll get overwritten by anything that's underneath them. So since we have total town replacement set beneath the American road replacement set, we're getting the total town roads. And that's another icon to look for, is that little yield sign looking thing. The triangle with the exclamation point, and that means there's an error in loading the NewGRF. So there's often an error message. So total bridge renewal set, total bridges must be loaded after total town renewal set. So since there's an error, we'll just go abandon game to get back to the main menu. Press yes. Go back to the NewGRF settings, and then total bridge renewal will move down. And then we'll check total town replacement set. We'll see parameters, infrastructure. Use TTRS road and bridges. We don't want that because we have a bridge set, so that'll overwrite the total town replacement set, and we already have a road set, so we don't want to use the total town replacement set. Another thing we could do is just move down American road replacement set. This will change the order in the NewGRF list, so we'll just move that down to the very bottom. We'll apply changes. We will save our preset North American, overwrite it since our first preset had some errors in it. We want to be sure that our preset is nice and easy to use, and then we'll start a new game. And already we can see that the roads changed to the North American style. You can see the double yellow and the dashed yellow in the passing areas. And then we go to NewGRF settings, and we no longer have any errors. So now you know that the NewGRF set that you chose is ready to use, and the world is now yours to create the transportation empire of your dreams. So that'll be it for this video. I hope you learned something and got some good recommendations. Again, if I skipped over your NewGRF, I'm sorry. There's just so many, I can't cover them all. But there really is something for everyone, and it really does come down to those basic questions of whether you're looking for an eye candy playthrough or a logistics challenge, or what level of realism that you want. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.